If you've ever wondered what an augmented chord is, or how to figure out what notes are in any augmented chord, well, this is the video for you. An augmented chord is basically just your root note, a major third, and an augmented fifth. So as long as we can figure out what a major third is and what an augmented fifth is, we can figure out in any key or for any chord what our augmented chord is. So let's look at a D augmented chord. Our root note, like any other triad, is just the name of the chord. So since it's a D augmented chord, we know that our root note is a D. Next, we need to figure out what the third is. In the case of an augmented chord, we know that our third is a major third. We also should know that a major third is 4 semitones. So we just count out 4 semitones from our root note, and that will give us the third in our triad. So in the case of a D augmented chord, we go D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. So F sharp is the third in our D augmented triad. Finally, we need to figure out the fifth of our chord. Because it's an augmented chord, we know that our fifth will be an augmented fifth. An augmented fifth is 8 semitones, so we need to count 8 semitones from the root note, in this case a D, in order to figure out what the fifth of our chord is. So we start with D, and then D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp. So A sharp would be the fifth in our D augmented triad. So now we figured out that a D augmented triad is a D, an F sharp, and an A sharp. And we can do this for any augmented chord because the intervals remain the same. And that's all there is to figuring out an augmented chord. If this was helpful to you, be sure to drop a like. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to learn more about music theory and specifically the 4 pillars of music theory that I think every songwriter really needs to know, be sure to pick up my free guide at songwritertheory.com/music theory guide. It teaches the 4 pieces of music theory that I really think every songwriter needs to know in order to be more effective in their songwriting, in order to be a lot more efficient in their songwriting, so that you avoid that weird, like, I feel like my chorus doesn't quite fit with my verse, but I don't know why, and then later you figure out, oh, it's not even in the same key, there's just a random key change. To avoid stuff like that, you really need to know these 4 pillars of music theory. Totally free at songwritertheory.com/music theory guide. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.